to Sunday. You have to be careful with your answer to this, Jules. Who is going through with Germany from Group A?
I really think that your boys are going to do it, I have to say, because if you think about it, okay, forget about the first game. Forget about the first game. It happens. It can happen. The sending off, all of that. I think there were probably a bit of nerves too when it's the home. Okay, forget about it.
We're going to lose the first game anyway, right? We didn't play. We were too passive. It was about games 2 and 3.
Exactly. So basically, you are where you kind of want it to be in a way. You're there. If you win, you go through for the first time ever. Because I don't want to bring you bad memories, of course. But Scotland, in their history, not just recently, in their whole history, I've never managed, even when with your greatest team of Kenny Dalglish and all those players,
Craig Burley,
maybe not so much, but yeah, all those guys, you've never gone past the group stage. So I really hope
0-9.
Tomorrow history will be made. I really believe that.
Right, it's time for the pessimistic Scot. Okay, I don't want to be pessimistic. I've been here nearly 2 weeks and I've enjoyed every second minute of it, but certain things happen, right? And you think, whether it's an omen or you think back to something. So I walked into the Cologne Stadium the other day and I thought, this is Villa Park, 1996, Scotland, Switzerland. There's so many similarities. There's more and more people bringing up Hadji and Morocco in 1998 and Scotland needing a win to go through, having drawn against Norway and narrowly losing to Brazil, and we screwed it up. Tell me it's going to be different, Sam, this time. Give me some hope and piggyback on the back of what Jules has said and feed me with confidence, dear boy.
You know what? I think Scotland will win. I do think Scotland will win. I saw a lot of pre-tournament predictions that had Scotland coming second, and I thought that was quite ambitious. I thought, Switzerland are very sort of tournament hardy team, aren't they? They always get through the group stages. I thought them and Germany would probably be the top two, and I have to admit I hadn't seen a lot of Hungary. I'd read a bit about them before the tournament, obviously. I was aware of them from beating England in the Nations League, and obviously they were very sort of impressive at the last Euros, and I thought it's going to be really difficult for Scotland to get out of the group. I haven't seen the 2 games so far. I think Scotland can beat Hungary. I think, obviously they had a little bit of I don't know if it's a wake-up call, because like you said, they were always expected to lose that first game against Germany. Perhaps the manner of the defeat was more disappointing than the actual defeat itself. But they responded really well against Switzerland. And from what I saw against Hungary in those 2 games against Switzerland and Germany, I don't see any reason why Scotland can't win that game tomorrow. I mean, I know you keep going on about this 2 points thing, but I don't think that's possible, is it? I think they have to win.
Oh, no, it is.
Through. I think a draw wouldn't be enough. I think they have to win.
Okay, are you ready for this? Here is what has to happen for the 4 teams to get, for 2 points to get through for Scotland. Spain beat Albania. Italy beat Croatia.
Yeah.
Portugal beat Georgia, and Turkey beat the Czechs. If that happens, Scotland would get through with 2 points.
I mean, Mark,
yes,
how would you feel if you go through with 2 points?
How would I feel? I wouldn't give a damn. Seriously, it would be so Scottish.
I know, but there's also an argument like 2 points. I know you can qualify, just forfeit and go home, because I'm not really sure you deserve to be there in the last 16 with 2 points in 3 games.
Jules, I don't care. It would be the most Scottish thing ever to do something that's never been done before. Right now, we'll probably find a way to not go through with 4 points if we win the game. But those 4 games, that's possible for any team to go through with 2 points, because that would mean that 2 of the groups would have the 3rd place team on just 1 point. So it's weird. The big problem I've got, LME, here is if we win, we're pretty much through. But if we draw, that'll be the longest wait in the world until all the other groups are done.
Yeah, but you know what, though? All the stars are aligning for it to happen, because of all those matchups that need to happen. It is possible. Listen, here's the good news. When you face Hungary, you have now seen 2 blueprints of what you should do and shouldn't do. Against Germany, even though Germany are stronger than Hungary, you do not do what you did there. And yes, obviously, it was an abomination of a performance, but it was also mainly because Steve Clark got it wrong in so many ways tactically. He then corrected himself in the second matchup. A really, really good, gutsy performance, smarter in the midfield, and it was a much more creative going into the final third. So now, when you face Hungary, who are organized, talented, Dominik Szoboszlai, of course, being the key man, but they've got some other players as well. Now you have to really understand, all right, how do we plan this? Because Hungary will most likely contain the ball and have more of the possession. That doesn't mean that you should sit, but at the same time, it shouldn't mean that you should be with this high press, feeling yourself really exploited at the back. Now you have learned that. You have learned both of those things. So I think everything is on the cards for you to go through. I'm with Jules. I think you're going to make it happen. 2 points. It doesn't matter. Scotland's going to win this. Super John McGinn with the winner. Let's go, Scotland.
So here's an interesting one, right? We've just spoken about the possibility, whether I don't know what the odds are because it depends on the results of going through with 2 points. There's 5 minutes left, Joe, and it's 1-1 hypothetically, or 0-0 or 2-2. What does Scotland do? They've got to push forward for another goal, for a winning goal, haven't they? But if they do, and they leave gaps at the back. So, because at the end of the Switzerland game, by the way, Manuel Akanji had no interest in pushing Switzerland forward. And Scotland were told, because Steve Clarke said to Andy Robertson, who was about to take a quick throw, no, just calm down, caw canny, as we would say in Scotland. So both sides were settling for a point. So what should any team in that situation do with 5 minutes to go if it's tied? What would you suggest?
I think they have to go for it, because
Agreed.
you would be gutted if you have a draw, you 2 points, and then maybe 3 out of those 4 games that you read out earlier go your way, but not the last one or something like that. At least you go for it. If you score and you win late, it will be chaos in that stadium, amazing, and then you almost guaranteed to be through, let's be honest, with 4 points. And then if you can't get that second goal, or that winning goal, let's say, then you'll have, at least you'll have tried. You'll have no regrets, and then you'll have to wait and see if it's 2 points. You go through, but you have to go for it. And obviously the Kieran Tierney injury is massive, and it's a real shame for the boy himself to start with, and for the team, because he's probably has been your best player in this tournament. But you know what? They're going to do it for Tierney. They're going to do it for the Donaldson family. They're going to do for all those kids that we keep seeing with bare bums and God knows what else underneath in this country so far. And for the monster of the Loch Ness as well.
Most of the Loch Ness as well. By the way, Sam, Gilles quite rightly mentioned Kieran Tierney, and he just, if the kid didn't have bad luck, he'd have no luck at all, because at Real Sociedad he went over and he got injured early doors, came back, and now he's hurt again. So we're going to have to replace him. That's going to be McKenna more than likely. It's probably going to be another 3 at the back. I don't think Steve Clarke, he's a bit like Southgate, a bit pragmatic. You don't win a game in the first 5-10 minutes, but you could certainly cause yourself trouble. Right wing back is our issue right now, because Anthony Ralston's the 3rd, 4th choice, but he is in because Aaron Hickey and Nathan Patterson are out. So he's done his best. He made that mistake that allowed Sherdan Shaqiri in with the goal. James Forrest would be the option. I don't think he'd play McCrory over Ralston. But if you've got a must-win game, could you pretty much pick the same rest of the team in that kind of 3-5-1-1? It could go 2 up top, sorry. Would you think he would consider playing James Forrest, who'll give us pace, but not as quite a good defensive acumen? Or do you think he'll just stick with Tony Ralston and basically make the one change with McKenna coming in for Tierney?
Probably just the one change, to be honest. You don't go chasing the game from the first minute. You pick the team that you picked to win. Obviously against Switzerland, you stick with that. Obviously, then you have the option to bring Forrest on and to go more attacking in the second half as you are chasing the game. And what Jules says, I think, you need to win the game if there are 5-10 minutes left in your level. As anyone who's ever done an accumulator and 4 or 5 team accumulator and has gone, look how good this is, I'm guaranteed to win this. You know that one of them is going to let you down, and whether it's Spain or Portugal resting players, or those Czech Republic, Turkey, and Croatia, Italy games are too dangerous to rely on. The game.
What about Germany, LME? We'll wrap this up. Been good so far. Could have scored more, but 1 or 2, not against Scotland, because we didn't get over the halfway line for most of the game, but the Hungarians had a couple of chances. Do you think the Swiss will, because they know, by the way, if Switzerland win, they top the group. So it's a meaningful game for both sides. What do you reckon to that game on Sunday?
Yeah, this is a tricky fixture because of what you just said. Like, this is a group to be won, and Germany. Listen, it's as we're talking, it's very difficult to assess how a team's going to develop in group stages and what they're going to look in the knockout stages. And when you talk about the favorites, Germany clearly being one of them, it's tough because now you're facing a team that is much more organized, obviously, than the last 2 teams that you just played, with all due respect. They have experience. They have Shaqiri, who basically was born to score an international goals. It's not just him, obviously. But this is now, as you mentioned, a matchup where, the top of the table the top of the group is up for grabs. And that is massive when it comes to what you want to do in the round of 16. Having said all that, Germany should have enough to do what they want to do. Not only are they looking good and better under Nagelsmann, but they have game changers. They have game difference makers like Musiala, for example, who really can turn it on. And I think with the support, the home support, it should be enough. But this, make no mistake about it, will be the toughest game for Germany in this group. But I do see them winning, but just about.
Gilles, I noticed a post online about an hour ago saying Group A has a 60% chance of providing 3 teams. There's a couple of groups that have a higher percentage, but most of them have a lower percentage. So you expecting Germany, Switzerland, and Scotland to be a 3-team going through from Group A, this being one of the groups with 3 going through?
Yeah, I think so. I would agree with that. I'm going to that Switzerland-Germany game, and I'm really excited because I want to see everything that Amy just described. But for both sides, really, I want to see how the Swiss respond after the draw against Scotland, where they didn't really play well enough, and they were clearly bothered by the intensity and the physicality that the Scots put. And then for Germany, as you said, we saw against Hungary that it was not always smooth and not always great. And Wirtz was quiet, and Havertz was clearly sulking when he saw his number up after just 57 minutes. So I don't think everything is perfect either within the German camp. And if they were not to win tomorrow, for example, or finish second in their group, which, by the way, would mean that instead of being on one side of the draw, they would be on the other one with France and England, for example. It could be a very different story. So Nagelsmann would have really hoped that this third game would be for nothing and that he could rest almost all the starting 11. He won't be able to do that. Oh, well, he can if he wants to, but it would be tricky. So it'd be quite interesting. But yeah, I think those 3 would qualify, just not sure in what order.